Muchas gracias, Verónica. Muchas gracias, María, por esta introducción. Ahora voy a cambiar de idioma because up next, we will take a quick dive into the state of art in research of B Corps. And joining us today from Canada is Ke Cao. Ke is chair of the research committee of B Academics and assistant professor at Lazaridis School of Business and Economics at Wilfrid Laurier University in Canada. Ke, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thanks to the organizers. Let me share my screen. So, let's see. It seems 1 minute, sorry.
We can already see your screen now.
Oh, you can already, okay, great.
Yeah. Just presentation mode and that will be all. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much. And so I will discuss a little bit on the research front on B Corps. As my colleagues like Bara, Maria, and mentioned earlier, like B Academics is has been incorporated like a couple fully incorporated like in 2019. But as a group of people has been working together for a few years. I'm kind of a newcomer, so I just got my PhD last year. This is my year one on the tenure track, but I have studied B Corps for like maybe 6 years. I've published 4 papers on this topic. My dissertation is about this. So I was right now I'm assistant professor at Lazarus School at the Wilfrid Laurier University in Canada. Wilfrid Laurier is kind of former Prime Minister of Canada. Lazarus School is named by Mike Lazarus, who is the founder for the BlackBerry. So there's a kind of background. So for B Corps, most of the audience are either like practitioners, researchers, or like staff with B Lab. I just want to share with you the notion that the business as a force for good is very much kind of appealing to a large group of academics. We work at a business school. Mostly we teach people how to make money, how to be competitive, how to survive and prosper. But that being said, most of us are kind of care about societal welfare. So we know that there are problems with capitalism, with the notion of profit first. So for me, as well as many colleagues at B Academics, we kind of share the kind of aspiration of a more fair, just, and sustainable future with many of you, probably in different areas. So here is kind of an agenda for my presentation. I hope the material are introduced are useful for academics, including professors as well as students here. And also can be useful for practitioners, including those of you who work or lead the B Corps as well as colleagues at B Lab. And hopefully some information are new to you. You probably attend the events and read the materials before. So I will mainly cover 3 areas. First is the current research terrain. What kind of research have been conducted in this area? And secondly, it's kind of a key insight so far. B Lab was established in 2006. Right now, it's almost 15 years, and so far there are about 3,300 certified B Corps globally. In China, right now it's about 25. I grew up in China. In Spain, probably right now is for certified B Corps, it's probably 70 or 80. But also the benefit corporation has been increasing pretty fast. So I will talk about what kind of insights we have learned from the started so far. Last, I want to share some research trend in the future. So here is here's a graph, like in an article, my co-author and I had published at the Academy of Management Discoveries in 2019. We basically like search all the papers has been published on B Corp, on benefit corporations, as well as certified B corporations. You can see like the number of publications has been increasing pretty fast. And also we categorize the papers into 4 categories. The largest categories actually are in the legal studies. They publish the papers on the, for instance, like Columbia Law Business Review, just an example. The main concern in that area is about the benefit corporations related laws. So the second category is about business. The orange type. You can see like the publication in the business sector has been increasing quite significantly over the years, and the green like area. The green area like kind of refer to the publication in the ESCO sector. You can see it seems like the research in this area has been kind of a decline after 2016. So we are in the process of like kind of calculating the latest data. So I haven't show like the data in the last 2 years. So it's kind of a work in progress. So here is a screenshot from B-Lab's website. Just in case, like for those of you who are not familiar with the difference between benefit corporation and certified corporation, this is a nice kind of illustration about the commonalities as well as the differences between the 2 types. In Spain, as far as I know, like most of the B Corps are like certified B corporations. But in Italy, and the benefit corporation law has been developed like I think a couple of years ago. In Canada, like the province of British Columbia, like has enacted benefit corporation law. So you can see like for both for benefit corporation as well as certified B corporations, it's kind of the accountability and the transparency standard are almost the same. So the key difference is probably is like for certified B corporations, you have to be certified by B-Lab. But any corporations can choose to be incorporated as benefit corporation if there is law like in the local context. Benefit corporations, as I mentioned, like in the United States, in Canada, as well as in I think in South American countries. So and for those 2 types of corporations, like the role of B-Lab is slightly different. Based on the latest information, like both benefit corporation and certified B corporations are called B Corps right now. It seems like in the early stage, B-Lab only refer to certified B corporations as B Corps. So it's based on my kind of reading in the material in this area. So earlier, like in the graph, I show you that there are 4 types of literature in this, and the number 4 type is kind of I use the word like other like includes Monday subject area. For instance, this is a paper on in the finance journals talking about benefit corporations and capitalism. The author actually is pretty famous scholar, like he's kind of an economist at Yale University. He won the Nobel Prize in economics, Robert Shiller. So like you can see like in this paper in 2013, he kind of argued that like benefit corporation is one of the kind of most significant innovation kind of has a promise of kind of reforming finance and financiers, along with crowdfunding and social impact bond. I think this project is kind of a bold statement in like 2013. here's another paper like published in you can say it's called the American Journal of Medicine. So their idea is that they discuss whether benefit corporation can somehow kind of redeem the pharmaceutical industries. You know, there is lots of monopoly. The drug prices are super high. The healthcare costs, especially in the United States, are kind of the price tag is kind of exorbitant. So they kind of argue like probably like benefit corporations probably is one path ahead. It's pretty interesting. So here is another paper in the political science area. Like, you know, so my idea of this paper is that benefit corporation is kind of innovation in the business sector. But in the meantime, the author argues that it will have some spillover effect, kind of like promote or provoke innovation in other sectors. For instance, governance, you know, relationship between government and business, or like the social discourse. So, you know, right now, like EDI is a big topic, probably like, you know, the development of the B Corp movement can give some inspiration to like innovation in other sectors. So you can see like the kind of research in this area of Parte is quite kind of vibrant and kind of diverse and interesting. So regarding like the core research themes in a latest like book chapter I co-authored with my PhD advisor, Joe Gamma at the University of Alberta, we kind of identified the four like types. First is a benefit corporate structure. You know, there's one camp of scholar argue that the benefit corporation is the future, you know, because it has kind of officially incorporate the responsibility of the firm for the stakeholder, not only shareholder. But on the other hand, there is another camp of scholars like kind of they have some critiques regarding the benefit corporation structure. For instance, there is concern of greenwashing. You know, in empirical studies in the United States, you know, some of the benefit corporations have not publicly released their like internal performance as well as other ESG and kind of data, etc. There is sort of a lack of transparency. So, you know, we are academics. We try to do research in a neutral way. You know, even though we are kind of sympathetic, kind of very supportive of the B Corp movement, hopefully we can also give some helpful, constructive critiques. So I just want to kind of add this point. The third area is about like new phenomena in the B Corp movement. There are some researchers like, especially like entrepreneurship researchers, they are kind of studies the B Corp movement from the entrepreneurship like angle. Now, how like the founder of B Corps develop as grew their venture, etc. Also, there are more like kind of attention to the regional variations. Now, of course, you know, the situation of the institutions in Spain are different from those in the United States as well as in China. You know, there's sort of like a comparative study in this area. Also, like there are some interest discussing about certifying large multinational firms. You know, Chris Marcus, a scholar like on B Corps, currently a professor at Cornell, like wrote a book on this. He kind of believes that the future is certifying large corporations to have more impact. So the last like research theme is about like how certification and incorporation impact the organization. There's sort of like a mixed empirical findings. You know, some research like found that probably there are kind of short-term penalties for B Corps because like you have to allocate your time, attention on certification. But other studies like kind of point out in the long run, like B Corps have benefits, have financial benefits for the companies. So also like the context matters, you know, where the B Corps are located. So So a brief discussion about research. We talk about research. How like a researcher do research? Basically, there are three types of work. First is kind of a conceptual work, discuss to what extent and how like benefit corporations can sort of like produce help with social good, for instance, in some law journals, for example. There are also like qualitative empirical research. Basically, researchers like they interview, for instance, people who are B Corp leaders. Also, like they use kind of third-party qualitative data like media coverage or companies like companies document, etc., to conduct the research. The last type of research is qualitative research, empirical research. B Lab actually is very kind of supportive of research in those areas, especially the third type of research. You know, as I can here, you can see like there are B Lab has sort of like a work has working pretty hard. You know, have to ensure the B Corp data kind of open to the research community. You know, some of you probably have been aware of the Duke case I3 data. It's the first set of data B Lab has shared with the research committee. The effort is sponsored by the Rockefeller Foundation, so it's pretty kind of generous, also kind of innovative kind of effort. We very much appreciate that. Actually, one of my papers was benefited from this data. The second part of data is kind of has been released on Data World. You can check there. The data is not very much refined. My sense is that like there are still some work to refine the data, and also like by the way, Data World is also like a B Corp. The second type of data is called WRDS. It's a kind of initiative like B Lab has collaborated with Warden Research Data Service. It seems there are some delay. But somehow, like the data might be open to the research committees probably this year or sometime. Okay, I might be short of time. I only have 2 slides left. So for the research trend in the future, probably like more attention to the international context. You know, based on our conversations in the academics event like in February, like. In the future, like the future of B Corp movement might be in Europe as well as in South America, in terms of like growing the number of B Corps. Probably hope to see probably more studies in those areas. Also, probably want to learn more about B Corps like in other areas of the world, in China or some Asian countries, maybe. You know. So in the future, probably like, hopefully we can see more multidisciplinary research. And probably there are some space at the top journals as the time goes. And also we have found that there are increasing number of like graduate and PhD dissertations on this topic. So that's pretty kind of awesome news for us. So here's the slides for academic practitioner collaboration. Why we do this? Basically, you know, that's my view. You know, first, we have some problems to solve. You know, how to grow the B Corp movement, for instance. You know, probably we can talk with each other. Second, like probably like you know, research practitioners can help us to just like help us, you know, just for the sake of science. You know, we are social scientists. We want to learn more about the phenomenon. So a third is kind of potential engagement. You know, probably we can work with practitioner, we can write some business case together, and also we can like together we can educate the students, you know, and also we probably can influence policy and do good together. So, and okay, that's all. Thank you so much, and for the opportunity to share like the research in this area. If you have any thoughts, any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out. You know. At B Academics, we are working on a volunteer basis, and we are but we have kind of we would very much like to help, especially for other researchers or as well as practitioners, you know, to do research, to teach about B Corps, also like do some engagement together. So that's all. Thank you so much.